The sun shone bright, families smiled, cotton candy clouds dotted the sky, Disneyland, a symphony of laughter, joyous screams from roller coasters, everything shimmered, magical. A child, Sarah, giggled, clutching a plush Mickey Mouse. Her parents, joyful, snapped photos. They didn't notice the mascot's eyes linger a moment too long on Sarah. The park bustled with energy, parades marched, music played, but something felt off, an undercurrent like a discordant note in a happy song. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows, the first sign appeared. A discarded Mickey ear headband lay on the ground, its once vibrant colors now faded and dull, as if drained of life. The air grew cooler, the crowds thinned, but Sarah's family stayed, caught up in the magic. They stopped by a caricature artist. "Make her look like Mickey," the father joked. The artist, his face etched with years of park life, hesitated. He glanced nervously at the costumed characters now preparing for the nighttime spectacular. "Of course," he mumbled, forcing a smile. Later, as fireworks painted the sky, Sarah's mother swore she saw a figure dash through the shadows, tall, thin, with two unsettlingly familiar round ears. She dismissed it, exhaustion playing tricks. But then came the whispers. Faint at first, carried on the wind. "He remembers," they seemed to say. "He remembers what he takes." Walt Disney, a visionary, a dreamer. He brought joy to millions. But what if those dreams held darkness? What if his creations were more than just cartoons? Legend whispered of a hidden room in Disney's workshop, a room where he experimented not with animation but with something far more sinister, imbuing life into his creations. The first Mickey, the story went, wasn't a costume but a being of dark magic, bound to Walt's will. It craved freedom, lashing out, taking what it believed was owed, children's energy, their joy. Walt, horrified, managed to trap the creature within his park, its essence seeping into every image, every costume. But some nights, it could still call out. Sarah, oblivious, tugged her parents towards the Mickey's Funhouse attraction. Inside, distorted mirrors reflected grotesque versions of beloved characters. Laughter echoed, but it sounded wrong. The air grew thick, heavy. The music stuttered, repeating the same few bars like a broken record. Sarah's plush Mickey felt strangely warm, pulsing faintly in her grip. Then the power flickered. Darkness, screams, not of joy, but of terror, erupted from somewhere within the labyrinthine attraction. Sarah's parents, fear gripping their hearts, clung to their daughter. When the lights flickered back on, they were alone, the other families gone. Only the distorted laughter of unseen children echoed around them, and a single Mickey ear headband lay at their feet. Section 5. When characters go quiet, panic set in. They ran through the funhouse, each mirror reflecting not their terrified faces, but a chillingly gleeful Mickey Mouse, his smile wide and predatory. They burst out of the attraction back into the park, but something was different. The music had stopped, the ride stood still, and the characters, they were everywhere. Goofy, Pluto, Minnie, all standing motionless, their painted-on smiles now grotesque masks in the eerie silence. Their eyes, all of them, fixed on Sarah. Then, from the castle, a spotlight pierced the darkness, illuminating a lone figure. Mickey Mouse. But this one wasn't dancing or waving. It stood still, head cocked, as if listening, waiting. Section 6. The Truth in the Tune. In the heart of the forest where shadows danced and the wind whispered secrets, a song began to play. It wasn't just any song, but a melody that seemed to come from the very soul of the woods. A song began to play. The notes floated through the air, carried by an unseen force, weaving a tapestry of sound that was both enchanting and eerie. Not the cheerful tunes of the park, but a haunting melody, a music box winding down, each note filled with a growing dread. The melody was like a siren's call, drawing them deeper into the forest's embrace. Sarah's plush Mickey grew unbearably hot, writhing in her grasp. She could feel the heat seeping through the fabric, almost as if the toy had a life of its own, pulsating with an unnatural energy. She tried to drop it, but it clung to her hand, its button eyes burning into hers. The once innocent toy now seemed malevolent, its gaze piercing and unrelenting. The whispers returned, louder now, swirling around them. He remembers the joy. He craves the joy. He takes the joy. Mickey began to move. The words echoed in her mind, each whisper more insistent than the last. Slowly at first, then faster, gliding towards them, his steps silent and unnatural. The ground seemed to tremble with each movement, as if the very earth was reacting to the toy's sinister presence. His shadow stretched long and distorted, swallowing the ground as he approached. The darkness seemed to grow, enveloping everything in its path, making it hard to distinguish reality from nightmare. Sarah's parents, desperate, tried to shield their daughter. They could feel the malevolent force growing stronger, their fear palpable as they clung to each other. But it was too late. The force was too powerful, too overwhelming. They could only watch in horror as the events unfolded before their eyes. The music swelled, reaching a crescendo. The air was thick with tension, every note vibrating with an intensity that seemed to shake the very core of their beings. And Mickey was close enough to see his eyes. Those eyes, once filled with joy and innocence, now burned with a cold, unyielding hunger. No longer filled with merriment, but with a cold, consuming hunger. The transformation was complete, and the once beloved toy was now a vessel of pure malevolence. Section 7. The Park After Dark. The screams stopped, the music faded. The once vibrant and bustling amusement park now stood eerily silent, its rides motionless, and its pathways deserted. The air, once filled with laughter and joy, now felt heavy and oppressive. Silence descended once more upon the park, heavier now, thick with an unseen presence. The fog rolled in, wrapping the park in a ghostly shroud, making it difficult to see more than a few feet ahead. Every creak and groan of the old ride seemed amplified in the stillness. The shadows seemed to pulsate as if something within them had been sated. They danced and shifted, creating eerie shapes that played tricks on the eyes. It was as if the park itself was alive, breathing and watching. Then, just as quickly, the lights flickered back on. The sudden illumination was almost blinding, cutting through the thick fog and casting long, eerie shadows. It was as if the park was trying to shake off the darkness that had enveloped it. Music resumed, rides whirred to life. The once silent park was now filled with the sounds of machinery and cheerful tunes, but there was an underlying tension, a sense that something was not quite right. The characters sprung back into their rehearsed routines, smiles plastered back on their faces. Their movements were mechanical, almost robotic, as if they were being controlled by an unseen force. Families emerged from darkened attractions, blinking in the sudden light, oblivious to the silence that had just blanketed the park. They laughed and chatted, unaware of the eerie events that had just transpired. The night continued, the magic seemingly unbroken. The park was alive once more, filled with the sounds of joy and excitement, but the shadows lingered, a reminder of the darkness that had just passed. But the whispers remained, fainter now, a chilling lullaby on the breeze. They seemed to carry a warning, a reminder that the darkness was never truly gone. He remembers. He always remembers. And he'll be back for more. The park may come to life, but the shadows never forget. They wait, biding their time until the next moment of darkness. Section 8. Never Look Mickey in the Eyes. This is a tale that has been whispered among the park staff for years, a story that sends shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned employees. The next day, a family stood at the park gates ready for a day of fun. They were filled with excitement, their hearts brimming with the joy of anticipated adventures. Little did they know the park held secrets that were better left undiscovered. They didn't notice the single faded Mickey ear headband snagged on the fence, swaying slightly in the breeze. It was a small, almost insignificant detail, but it held a story of its own, a silent witness to the park's darker side. They didn't see the fleeting shadow that crossed the face of the costumed Mickey as they passed, a flicker of something ancient and hungry in its eyes. It was a momentary glimpse, easily dismissed, but it was there, lurking just beneath the surface. And they didn't hear the whispers, carried on the laughter of children, a chilling reminder that some things are best left forgotten. The whispers were faint, almost drowned out by the joyous sounds of the park, but they were persistent, a constant undercurrent of unease. Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, a place where dreams come true, where magic is real, and where every corner holds a promise of wonder. But not all dreams are sweet, and not all magic is benign. But beneath the magic, beneath the smiles, something dark lingered, something that remembered, something that waited. It was an ancient presence, woven into the very fabric of the park, watching and waiting for those who dared to look too closely. Something that would forever haunt the dreams of those who dared to look too closely. It was a presence that thrived on fear feeding off the terror of those who sensed its existence but couldn't quite understand it. Never look Mickey in the eyes, for in those eyes, you might see the reflection of something you were never meant to see, something that could change your perception of the park forever.